Hi, this is Toby from Our Data Solution. I want to give you a quick demo of Logos Express. This is a new version of Logos that we have. It's different than the professional version. The professional version is oriented more towards technical users. Express is oriented towards non-technical users, and people can use it to build a very good complex application with lots of forms and reports, the ability to edit data within the database very quickly. In fact, within a minute you can build this application. I'm going to show you how. This is a fresh install of Logos on our Joomla test site, and you can see that we don't have any queries here, and we have the default application which is installed or created when you install Logos. We have for connections, a connection to the Joomla database, and just previously I've created a connection to our sample database. This is a connection to a MySQL database. So what we're going to do is create an application. And I'll show you how to do this. Click the New button, and we'll call this application Dealership. This is our Dealership application. Now on the configurations in our form, we'll select that connection, that sample database connection, and it'll come back with a list of tables that we can select. Well, let's go and select our Dealership application. Again, the page reloads, and now at the bottom we can see all the fields located in that table, and we can change some of the stuff too. For example, I can take that title and call it primary address. I'll do the same for this one. Now Logos is guessing what a lot of these fields are for. They look like they're going to be containing a URL, a web address, or maybe they'll be containing an email address. And it's done a pretty good job at guessing what we want here. The visibility determines when you will see the data. And of course we can configure the search inputs as well. We want users to be able to search for a dealership based on the name, or maybe the location, such as the city, the state, and the country. But for these location fields, we don't want the user typing in the name of the city. We actually want a list of cities currently stored in the database, and the same for the state and the same for the country. So Logos will create the interface and list everything which is currently in the table already. We'll do the same for categories. Okay, well, that's about it. Let's go down and click the Create Queries button, and then we'll save this application. There's a message that comes up. Do you want to do this? I think we do. We have a message here saying that Logos has created a bunch of stuff for us. Now if we go to Queries, we can see that Logos has automatically generated a lot of the interfaces that we'll need to manage the data. Okay, let's see what that looks like. There's the list of queries here. The typical user wouldn't see this. This is actually more for your benefit. Let's go to that search query. Okay. Let's see, let's search for a dealership located in Bangkok. Well, there are a few of them. Now what about country? Let's go and look for some dealerships located within the United States. There they are. Now by the way, where it says US here and in the grid it says US, we can actually translate the data. We can translate any of these fields, and we can do a lot with the data later on by configuring a field called translate, but we won't go into that right now, but you can do that in Logos. Let's talk about administrating the data. Let's say you want to add a record. Well, this is our administrative grid, and there's a little button here that says add. Let's add a database. Excuse me, let's add a record. Let's add a dealership. Let's just go through this very quickly. Test, test, test. My country is test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course I am tester at test.com. Let's call this testing. Let's submit that record. The record has been added to the database. Sounds good. There it is. It's automatically listed. It's not published yet, so if a user was back on that search screen, they wouldn't actually find this record. We'd have to publish the record first. Okay, now it's published. We can also edit that record. Let's go change the country to something else. The country of blah. And we can see the record has been updated. Okay, I think we're done with this guy. Let's take him out. Are we sure we want to do this? As sure as anything else, I guess. And the record is gone. So this is a very quick demo of Logos Express, and you can see within just a minute I created a whole application that can be used to add records to the database, to modify the records, to publish, to unpublish the records, and to delete the records. And if you're a non-technical user that needs some basic forms and reports put onto your website, I think Logos Express is the product for you. You can find more information about it on the ODS website. That's ourdatasolution.com.